concerning trend for Point Loma is the number that Westmont has up on the board, which is 10, as Westmont is 18-2 this season when scoring 8-plus runs. They are 28-5 when scoring 6-plus. So if Point Loma had a chance to make it a little bit more even, that chance has probably gone out the window. So these bats are going to have to come alive in a hurry. Time being, though, Kenny Esposito will have to hold serve.
Trying to creep a little closer.
Well, we know no lead is safe. Viola was up 5-0, and they were cruising. And then all of a sudden, the momentum, even though HP was being blanked, his filthy change up there, getting more to chase downstairs. Even though Viola was cruising a little bit, the momentum changed, and innings started to take a little bit longer. Obviously, Luke Ballantyne, Viola's starter, he was in 3 separate bases-loaded jams. He somehow got out of with only allowing 1 run across all of those. Check swing there, appeal. There's a no-go there. HPU, that onset, they had another back-to-back session of home runs. Curveball there, misses just a hair downstairs. There's anything to take away from that game if you're a Point Loma fan. This game is certainly not over, especially considering that your offense is equal to, if not better than, HPU's. Pulled, and knocks the base. Oh, an unfortunate turn of events there for Rodriguez. Mora took a wide turn at 1 and thinks better of it, returns safely, and will just take the 90. Man, oh man, Rodriguez, that one's got to hurt the soul.
Just feels like everything's going Westmont's way, right?
Slider misses. That's 77 miles an hour, 1-0. We line up back to Weiserman's, who's living pretty good right now. 3 for 3.
Yeah.
The 2-0. Hit well to left center. It will find Green, and it's a few feet shy of the track. Weiserman's have himself a slide and double. Probably could have stood up, though, but little style points never hurt nobody.
Make it 4 for 4, right, for Grant Weiser with nobody away.
Well, I wanted to say, like Wendy's, he's got the 4 for 4 going, but I didn't know if we were allowed to. Fresno Pacific hosting this tournament, Raising Cane's sponsor, so I didn't want to upset anyone up here, between Cane's and Wendy's. Didn't want to start a beef. Left that one where it is.
So I like what you did there. So now you got both of them mentioned right there. That was expertly done, JJ.
0-1.
Are you sure you're only a college senior at this point? That's a wise move.
I think I know my age, even though everyone else thinks I'm old as heck. Lifted, left center. It's Bermuda Triangle area. We'll see what Arriaga's got. He doesn't. One runner comes across. They're going to wave another man home. It is 11, make it 12-1. You talked about it. Feels like everything is going Westmont's way. Feeling the only place in the ballpark that Arriaga couldn't get to it.
Everything going their way.
Well, we mentioned it a couple innings ago. We saw one player, I believe it was Schwartz, lose in the sun a little bit. And we said as the sun continues to set, shadows grow a little bit longer. That sun, based on where it is, wild pitch there, but no motion. As that sun continues to set right over there behind the first base dugout, it'll make it difficult for any of these players on the left side of the field.
Not a bad stat line already, right? 2 for 3, 6 RBI.
The only problem for him right now is that there's not 2 runners on. High chopper here. Rodriguez has it, but does not have the throw. The ball took forever to get down, and McFeely used that time to get underneath the parabola and get to first base.
We talked about everything going Westmont's way.
When it rains, it pours. The Warriors have runners on the corners, and still nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Esposito has that one skirt in to Molina.
As well,
not sure if this one has enough power. There will be a tag. It's warning track, and that'll bring home Soper. Feely holds at first as well. Thought we were going to have a mercy rule come into effect. I think Westmont, obviously we don't have it, but I think Westmont's trying their best to say this is why you should have it for next PacWest tournament. 13-1 is a score, though, nonetheless. In turn into something more, another crooked number for them. Runners on the move. Molina going to get a chance to show off the arm there, but airmailed it just a little bit too high. Didn't have enough oomph for Reese to make the catch and tag. To be fair, we did just say there's plenty of ball game left. So if you're Westmont, you don't want to rest on your laurels by any stretch. Bryce McFeely, by the way, just picked up stolen bag number 12 for him on the season, breaking a tie with him, Bollinger, and Weiserman's for second most on the team.
And McFeely, he plays the game all out at all times.
There's a reason this dude is leading or top 5 in most major offensive categories in Westmont history. 2-2. Land glances off of the glove. They're going to try to double up. Oh. No, they did not. Esposito, he did touch his glove, barely redirect to Reese, When was the last time you saw a 1-4 line out?
Double play almost. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, the line drive.
Again, Kenny Esposito, the first man of the pen for Point Loma. Westmont yet to go to their arm barn. Clipped. Stuck at the feet of Molina.
Record with 3 homers versus Menlo. 13 total bases on April 18th, and he's not that big of a guy.
Well, can I ask, where was it being played at? Was it at Menlo?
That's a good question. I just have it as being versus Menlo.
Foul ball here. Because if it was at Menlo, that makes sense. Because, I mean, I could hit a home run at Menlo. Filthy from Esposito there. Molina makes the obligatory throw over to Schwartz. 3 more come across in the top of the 5th. It is a blowout. 13-1. Westmont is on top of the Sea Lions. We'll see if Point Loma's got anything in store on the other side. Back in a moment, PacWest Network. It's still Peck's show here on the PacWest Network. J.J. Johnson alongside Scott Bemis. 13-1 ball game as Brian Peck faces off against the catcher Molina down the knees. Ran into a little bit of trouble there in the bottom of the 4th, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, obviously it doesn't affect the score. But when you think about Westmont, Scott, they're trying to save their arms as much as possible. That pitch count, got to keep it low for Peck. If he can give you another 8 innings like Humphreys did for you yesterday, I mean, good luck to whoever they have to face tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because you're going to have a fully rested bullpen heading into that.
Fruitless AB brings around Arriaga, the left fielder, who lost the ball in the sun. I'm sure he'd be hoping to return the favor out there and left to Dunn. Arriaga pulls foul, and that game's scheduled to start at 7 o'clock, but because of the late, how long that first game was between HP and Viola, this game started about half an hour behind. We're an hour and a half into this one, and we're about halfway, just over halfway through. And so you're hoping that this game picks up so that we can get to that 7 o'clock start time, but that would require these last innings to go about an hour. High chopper, weird bounce, good corral there at second base by Soper. Flip us back to the top, and Bernath. Quite some time for Peck. Oh, man, watch out. Catches him in the noggin. It wasn't, I mean, it's 75 miles an hour catching the dome. I mean, it's either that or what do you want, 94 to the dome? No, thank you.
It is better than 94.
This ball gets back up the middle and giving them a taste of their own medicine. By the way, Brian Peck just plunked his 8th batter of the season, moving him into the top 10 of the wrong category. So we'll put a pin in the conversation about Justin James. To the other side, it's a 0 on the board, 2 runners left stranded for Point Loma. Brian Peck has completed 5 innings, and he's operating with a 12-run lead. Kenny Esposito once more on the hill. You're going to try to carry this bullpen for as long as he can to save the arms for what we presume will be tonight. And if they win that one, into tomorrow against Westmont for a rematch if the result holds. But we were talking about Justin James going into the break, and this is a guy who knows pitching, certainly so. So it's a bit of a shock to see Brandon Jackal. Obviously, any day, anything can happen. But Justin James, his previous stop was at UC San Diego as a pitching coach, actually. And most in school, in 2018, they had 528 strikeouts, which was the most in a single-season school history under his watch. Point Loma last year, in 2024, they had 445 Ks, swinging and miss there, 2-1, which was also the most by his staff in school history. So this is a man who's responsible for 2 different programs having their highest strikeout number in program history.
Yeah, not only that, he was a good pitcher himself.
This is a man who had to revamp his staff just a little bit, only had 6 returners from a season ago. Man who last year was one of their aces at a 3.55 ERA, lifted a little bit this year at over 5, but still a very dependable arm for Point Loma. We presume we'll see him at some point. In the air, Oppo power here. It's back towards the track. Solo blast from the catcher, Hofstadler. And with that, 6 home runs, as you talked about. That is their season high for most home runs in a game, surpassing the 5 that they had against Hawaii Pacific back on February 17th. Home run leader was Azusa Pacific. Obviously not in the tournament, so Westmont able to surpass them of output that they've done against a team, as we talked about, Point Loma, who is usually so dependable on the hill. Jackal came in with the 3rd best ERA, trailing only Ryan Humphreys and Chris Parleski of Vanguard University. That's 100%. This ball's lifted up. Charging in is Meffert from center field, and he's got it in plenty of time. 1 more run. I mean, what's more at this point for Westmont? 14-1.
Play multiple sports. And I imagine if you coach multiple sports, that things can carry over from one sport to the next.
1,000%. And, you know, it's something, one of the key characteristics of coaching, in my opinion, is the ability to communicate something and make it applicable to everyone, but tailor-made to the individual. What I mean by that is when you have a guy who you see that he's not getting something, right? Whether it's, a flip of the hands, you got to be able to understand, okay, well, what is this guy good at? What does he understand? Can't get his hands around on something. Maybe he boxes. All right, well, let's try to translate it to boxing. I think that's a characteristic of a really good coach, and Coach Vagnis, being well-versed in multiple sports, I think that is certainly transparent in the way that he's being able to approach coaching his guys up.
An ex-football coach that adds a little bit of toughness to your roster as well.
Oh, yeah. You think they're doing Oklahomas over there on the football? If so, sign me up.
Now, that would be something if I went to a baseball practice and saw an Oklahoma drill or a Kelvin Sampson rebounding drill. There's stardom in being a great role player, by the way.
I appreciate it. Some trouble here for Peck. Yeah, he threw that pitch a couple innings ago. Remember, he had a couple of batters go down looking where he just started painting that outside corner.
I was in college.
Fair enough.
Now I can say it because I'm more mature, and
Yeah.
I look back on it and realize it.
I'll tell you what, Schwartz is taking advantage of all the opportunities out there in foul territory. Remember the catch he had yesterday, the over-the-shoulder grab, wasn't necessarily Willie Mays, but it was definitely a little athletic, to say the least. Had a chance to talk to him about it after the game, and he goes, yeah, I had a little wide receiver in my days. Not sure if he was telling the truth because his teammates started laughing at him,